So you just have to like hit that thing where it's like, yeah, I accept. All right, and then I'm going to share my screen. Second, perfect. Can we all see my little presentation? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let me go to view. There we go. Slideshow, perfect. Okay, so today we are going to do a little overview of non-selective recruitment, and there'll be certain topics where I'll ask if you need me to go a little more in depth on things, but if not, we'll just save everything for the end. And I also want to have like some time for like discussion and just like idea sharing amongst all of us. But before we get into it, I just want to know who's doing fall recruitment. Everyone, most of us, everyone, awesome. And who here is it anyone's like first time being like in charge of recruitment, leading recruitment?
Me. And I am also activated spring 2022. So we're winging it, you guys. We're winging it.
I love it. Okay, so most of us, it is like our first time, which is great. I'm super excited for you guys. Usually it is like you do it once and yeah. All right, let's get into it. So first, why non-selective recruitment? So Omega Phi Alpha started with non-selective recruitment, and we sort of noticed that membership was declining even before COVID, and we really just wanted our chapter's recruitment practices to reflect our values: friendship, leadership, service, diversity, and inclusion. Again, we have to make sure our practices are aligning with our values. So in spring 2021, we required chapters to host a non-selective recruitment, and that was a very successful semester. So we decided to continue to really strongly encourage chapters to host non-selective recruitment. So prior to this, about 50% of chapters did selective recruitment, and now we only have 2 chapters who are doing selective recruitment. And as you could see, I wrote that 93% of active chapters as of this past spring semester have adopted the non-selective recruitment, and which is amazing because currently membership is the highest it has been since 2019, which is awesome. Thank you all so much, because the reason that is because of the hard work that your chapters have put in. So I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of non-selective recruitment. So non-selective recruitment is a way for your chapter to be inclusive when adding new members. You're not excluding anyone for any sort of reason. And I think by doing this, you'll be able to find really unique members across the board, and you'll just be able to cast a much wider net than if you were going to do a selective recruitment. And I really love this line right here: the chapters gain strength through the diversity of their membership. If everyone in your chapter was exactly the same, how boring would that be? And also, you would probably never have any new ideas, any new input. Everything would stay the same, and you wouldn't find any growth in your chapter at all. The diversity of our membership is what makes Omega Phi Alpha so special, and why each chapter is so unique and so different. I think that's, in general, one of my favorite things about Omega Phi Alpha is that every chapter is very different in its own way. And I think that is just amazing. And I said this before, and I'll keep saying it, but we want to make sure that our values are reflected in the practices and our membership. Because sure, we could say, you know, these are our values, we're rooted in service and diversity and leadership and friendship. But if we're not walking the walk and we're only talking the talk, you know, it doesn't align together. So we want to make sure that this shows in the practices that we're doing, whether it be recruitment or service projects or sisterhood events, anything like that, as well as the way our membership looks. We want all of our members to reflect these values as well. And by doing this non-selective recruitment, this allows chapters to really expand and grow their membership, and also you'll be reaching more areas of your campus and beyond. Because when you have so many different people, they know other people and they bring those people in, maybe they're in other organizations, and they can really tie everything all in, and really your outreach will be so much larger. I just want us to think about, again, the importance of service, because everyone is able to serve in some capacity or another. So the more members you have, the more ways you'll be able to make an impact and to serve and help along that on campus and through all the 6 areas of service. So there are some common concerns when it does come to non-selective recruitment. I call it kind of like myth busting we have to do when it comes to the non-selective recruitment. So the first one that often comes up is everyone thinks, so does that mean every PNM that comes out to our event, do we have to give a bid to everyone? And no, you don't, because obviously that is just not sustainable whatsoever. And again, Omega Phi Alpha would not be successful otherwise. So each chapter is going to create its own objective criteria and that will show if that PNM, potential new member, is eligible to receive a bid or not. So oftentimes it's things like credit hours, student status, GPA requirements, or like amount of recruitment events attended. Obviously, a lot of times people have like, oh, we need you to attend an info session, a service night, and this other event, or info session, at least one or more events, something like that, or as many events as possible. A lot of times universities require that it be a full-time student in good standing, or if your university requires the PNM to previously have like 12 credits completed, things like that. Usually it means you have to be in good standing. And if your own chapter has its own GPA requirement, that's something also to consider. So moving on to our next one, another common concern that comes up is around bigs. We don't have enough bigs to do non-selective recruitment. We don't have enough people who want to be bigs in order to take littles. No. So as I have here, being a big is a big responsibility, but it should not stop the chapter from engaging in this non-selective recruitment. So basically it's the idea that everyone is able to be a big. And if people feel that they can't be, I think you need to have a little talk about what it really does mean to be a big and the requirements around it. A big shouldn't just be about all like the gifts and the presents and things like that. Is being a mentor to kind of help with the Omega Phi Alpha journey. And it's like a rite of passage as a new member, right? To have that big little moment. So everyone kind of has to like do their part when it comes to big and little, when it comes to recruitment. Recruitment is a service to the chapter and it's like a duty of the membership. You know, it's one of those, it's a requirement that is mandatory for everyone. You can't just be like, I'm not going to do recruitment. No, everyone is involved with recruitment. It's all hands on deck. And that's the same with bigs and littles. At one point, everyone should be a big at least once, but we really want to like get rid of this notion that being a big requires like a lot of money and gifts, or that you have to be like BFFs for life and forever. It's just a mentor. Of course, it's wonderful if you come really close, but I think a lot of chapters are changing what it means to be a big, which is wonderful. I think the pandemic, obviously, as stressful as it has been, I think it has kind of like opened our eyes to different ways that the big little relationship can be, with all the unique ways people have done like reveal and clues and things like that. There's a lot of ways to really get creative. And again, at the end of the day, when it comes to bigs and littles, there's a lot of ways to kind of like cost save, because obviously you might want to give little things here and there, but the chapter can really work together to help in this. All right, I know that was a lot. Moving on to the next one, but that's an area I'm definitely passionate about. So what happens if we have 10 more PNMs come out than anticipated? So this is often something people are concerned about. For example, if your chapter has 40 active members and 100 PNMs come out, obviously we are not going to make you take all 100 PNMs, because that is incredibly overwhelming and it's not sustainable for your chapter's health. Obviously we want your chapter to grow, but not in an unhealthy way. So first, you need to determine whether or not each PNM meets that criteria that we talked about before, the objective criteria. And if not, you're going to go through and see who meets it and who doesn't. If at that point it hasn't narrowed down, or you still have an absurd, crazy amount, then you're going to reach out to the membership director, who this year it is now going to be Summer Ray, and you can reach out to her, and I have it there, membership@omegaphialpha.org. And she's gonna work with you to figure out a way what is best for your chapter while still being inclusive. Now, this has been a concern that has always come up with people from my semester before recruitment even starts. And I just want to let you know, in my, I think 3 or 4 years I've been involved with membership on the national team, it has not come up. So I just don't want you to stress too much about it. It is something that I see membership directors often get really concerned about, but the issue actually has never arose yet. So don't freak out about that. All right. So here we go. Moving on. Sorry. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So we're going to talk about the best practices when it comes to doing a non-selective recruitment. And these are things that will help you be successful, but also align with Omega Phi Alpha's values. So the first thing is that criteria I was talking about. So with either your executive board or with your recruitment committee, you want to really create and also review what criteria you have when it comes for a PNM to be eligible for a bid prior to even beginning recruitment. So like I said, maybe it's student status, credit hours, GPA, and a number of events. Now, I know every chapter, every university is a little bit different. I know some people operate as a club and others fall under maybe Panhellenic or another Greek organization. You need to make sure that you are following whatever your university has for joining either Greek life or a club. So if your university says that a PNM needs to have a 2.5 GPA, you need to be following that as well. We just want to make sure we're still aligning with what your university says as well as what we say. And then again, objective versus subjective criteria. We don't want to use subjective criteria for a non-selective recruitment because it really just holds people back from getting involved with leadership or service. People don't have to come in with a ton of leadership or service experience. That's what's great about Omega Phi Alpha, is that it gives people the chance and the opportunity to gain that experience and those values. There may be different reasons why people were unable to serve in high school or previously in their lives. And maybe they're just looking for a way to get involved. Maybe they're just super passionate about service. Those are the people we want for OPA. We want people to be super passionate about service. It doesn't matter if they don't have a ton of prior experience. So when you're thinking about your objective criteria, and if you're confused if it's subjective versus objective, you want to think, sorry, I'm just looking at something. Subjective criteria is more feelings based, like I was saying, the years of experience, or maybe I hate when people say, oh, I get a certain vibe from this person or whatever it may be. That is subjective criteria that does not align with the non-selective objective criteria and the values of Omega Phi Alpha. So subjective criteria can't really be quantified, and objective criteria is based on facts. Sound good? I know that was like a lot. People get caught up with that one, so I just want to make sure we're good on that. So now we're going to talk a little bit about events when it comes to recruitment, everyone's favorite thing. So you really want to plan events that are fun and engaging, that get both your PNMs and your actives exciting. And you want to highlight, again, what Omega Phi Alpha is all about: friendship, leadership, service. And I think it is a great chance to show what makes your chapter unique. So I like to think about, what does life as a member of your chapter look like, and what types of events or things do you do with your chapter? Because you don't want PNMs to get so excited at recruitment, being like, oh my God, look at all the fun things we do, the cool things we do, the impactful service, and then for them to get the bid, join, and then be like, wait, all those things during recruitment, we don't do any of that during the year. That doesn't match. So think about, you want to align with the events you're currently doing. And I also like to say, think about the personality of your chapter and try to have your events with that. I know when I was previously your recruitment chair, my chapter was very like competitive and goofy, and I knew they weren't afraid to like really put themselves out there. So one time I hosted like a scavenger hunt where we were put into teams with PNMs and actives together, and everyone got so into it and got so fun, like doing all different things. Maybe you have like a really crafty group, like everyone loves to craft and is really into that. Maybe you want to do that for your sisterhood night. So just think about the personality of your chapter and what's really going to show people shine and show off people's personalities. And then obviously a big event and a big part of Omega Phi Alpha is service. So you want to use recruitment as an opportunity to teach the PNMs about all the different areas of service we do and projects that your chapter is passionate about. So maybe during an info session, you talk about the reoccurring event your chapter does every year, or if there's, for one category of the 6 areas of service, there's one event you always do for that. Why is it impactful? Why is it important to you? And why is it important to your chapter? I always say good ones to do for recruitment are the President's Project and Nations of the World, because President's Project, you really explain how the president picks a new project every year and the different things you're able to do for that. And Nations of the World, I think, is another one. People don't like always think of something right away. They're like, or, you know, people go to like free rice or think about like traveling and doing something like mission-based trips, but there's obviously things that we do as chapters every single semester. So I think it's a great chance to kind of like teach about that. And I don't know, personally, I was always a big fan of members of the sorority. I think those projects were always super fun and impactful because it was just showed the appreciation you had for your other sisters. So that's another good option as well. And most importantly, the best events, and especially for service projects, are hands-on, but they facilitate and allow conversation to happen. I say this because you don't want a project that is so involved that your PNMs and actives are so focused on like the steps of what they have to do physically to like put something together that they can't even like talk to someone and have a conversation. You don't want to overwhelm. But a lot of times when you're talking, especially to someone new, it's helpful to have like something to do with your hands and something to like go along with, and it kind of helps with conversation. So I know a lot of people do like the blanket tying. That's a great one because you're doing something with your hands, you're being active, you could talk to one another still. So it's doing an activity while also being able to talk to someone and have a conversation. At the end of the day, though, when it comes to events, we want to make sure that everyone is included. So it's important to have a wide variety of events. Think about the timing of your events. I know sometimes you can't help but have them all at the same time during the week, but be cognizant of people's, like, if they have work or if they have classes or whatever it might be, you really just want to be aware of that. So if you're able to maybe have one on like a Sunday night or and a Monday night, something like that, or some people I know do like Friday afternoons or even Saturday. Again, just try to have like a variety of different times if you're able to, just to kind of allow to accommodate people's schedules. You want to make sure that conversation is appropriate, obviously throughout, to make sure that we're kind of including everyone in the conversation. And also think about your overall language use, which we're going to talk a little bit more about on the next slide, but just try to be as inclusive as possible. You don't want something to be a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of us have maybe felt the same way. They thought Greek life maybe wasn't for them, right? Anyone here felt that way? They weren't sure if they wanted to join a sorority. So maybe you want to watch the language you use when it comes to promoting Omega Phi Alpha. And again, our whole Omega Phi Alpha is all about being really inclusive, and we're open to all. So we want to make sure that the language is reflecting that so that people don't feel excluded in any type of way. Just things to kind of keep in mind as you start maybe posting and promoting your recruitment on social media and whatnot as we get closer to the semester starting. So this is more about marketing and presentation of the chapter. I didn't really get a ton into social media on this slide because I think nowadays that's something we kind of have a grasp on that comes a little more naturally, is figuring out Instagram. And I'm sure if your other members or if you yourself went to the convention, Corey Goodburn did a great presentation about recruiting PNMs on social media, and I can give you his contact if you need help with like doing things on Instagram, because he's a great resource for that as well. So just let me know about that, but let's get into it. So like I was previously saying, we want to make sure we're using inclusive language because Omega Phi Alpha is open to all gender identities. And just as a reminder, I always like to remind everyone this, we want to use the terms recruitment and new member as opposed to rush and pledge. These are terms Omega Phi Alpha uses, and a few years ago, we actually got rid of pledge and rush just because they have a lot of negative connotations associated with them. So we don't need to promote that either. So just make sure you're not, I know a lot of times other chapters or other organizations on your campus may be talking about rush, just try to frame it in recruitment with your chapter and among your members as well. The best thing I could say is follow up with your PNMs. If you want people to come to events, you have to be on them about it. So you want to get contact information of everyone. I think email is like kind of like the safest, but if you want to make like a group me or like a Facebook Messenger chat or some sort of group chat and just reach out to remind them about upcoming events and information. It's great to have some sort of email list and to just send out an email the next night, and you can do the schedule send on Gmail. So you have it all ready. You can say, oh, it was so great seeing you tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing you again at our next event. Here's the info for that. Make sure you fill out this form, link it in there. That way it's all in one place, and it kind of makes people feel wanted too. Like, and again, it just serves as a reminder. I like to talk about explaining what is Omega Phi Alpha because I think sometimes it is hard to put into words, especially when on the spot. So right here I have just quick little ways that I like to talk about Omega Phi Alpha. So We are a service sorority that focuses on 6 different areas of service that the chapter votes on, as opposed to just one philanthropy. I really like to focus on that one part of that the chapter votes on it, because I like that it shows that we are picking the projects that our members are passionate about. With other sororities, we know they just have their one philanthropy, and obviously they're passionate about that, but I think it's really unique and special that with OPA, we kind of get to choose within those areas the different things we're able to do. And again, every chapter does something different, which I just think is so awesome. And another comment, which I'm sure we've all heard before, and we love to hear it: you are not a real sorority. We are a real sorority. Again, we just have different values. We are a national organization with chapters all around the country, as we're all here today, with alumni support. National leadership team is made up of mainly alumni. We have a strong membership with rituals, tradition, bigs and littles, and more. I feel like that really encompasses what people think of when it comes to a sorority. So again, I just have it there to kind of help you out along the way. So we have talked a lot about inclusivity when it comes to recruitment. So when it comes to that, I want us to really check out different areas of campus so that we're casting that wide net that I've been talking about. So of course, we have like our student organization fairs and other places where maybe Greek life or service, like clubs or organizations market things out. But there's ways you can really check out other places on campus: arts building, science labs, multicultural centers, your student center, different campus events, etc. So find those different events and things on campus. If you're allowed to put flyers up, do that. You know, if you're allowed to hang some in the bathroom, don't do anything else to get you in trouble with your university. I know my university, Rutgers, was very in particular about flyers, and you weren't allowed to just put anything up. You had to get everything approved. So just make sure you're doing everything that follows the rules. I don't want anyone breaking the rules, but like I said, we just really want to get out there to make sure that we're casting a wide net across the whole university. Another great way, I think, to kind of find some more different members across campus is referrals and list acquisition. So ask around. Maybe you want to ask your professors or your advisor, any faculty, if they know any service-oriented leaders on campus. And if you're able to get a list of like incoming students, transfer students, again, I list all different types of ways that you can ask for different types of people that might be a good fit for Omega Phi Alpha. So my thing is, don't be afraid to ask for a list, because you never know who may have a good contact or good information. The worst they can say is no. But if you're getting a list of people's contact information, please be responsible with it. Don't spam them like crazy. You don't want to get a bad reputation of Omega Phi Alpha on your campus, and really strive to make personal connections with people as well. That is, at the end of the day, why people want to join Omega Phi Alpha. They remember that one-on-one they had with someone talking that made them really want to join. I'm sure you could think of when you were joining that one-on-one connection you had with someone. And I would just say, get your information out on any newsletters and listservs, and try to get in contact with different organizations on campus. If there's another organization that you've collaborated with before, reach out to them. If you have members who are involved in other things, ask them to make an announcement. Omega Phi Alpha recruitment is coming up. Here are the dates. Contact me or follow us on Instagram for more information. You gotta use what you have and work with it so we can really cast that really wide net and make it work. So overall reminders I have there: make sure to please fill out all forms on OPA portal and add your new members. So as of now, all the recruitment forms are up on OPA portal, which is both the fall recruitment plan and the recruitment recap, which you fill out after recruitment. And you want to make sure that you're adding your new members either as recruitment is happening on OPA portal or right after they accept the bid. Otherwise, we nationals, we do not know how many members you took. We're trying to figure it out, and we will stalk you on Instagram. Sometimes we're like, oh, did you see this chapter? We counted the PNMs in their picture on bid day. This is how many they have. But we need the official number, because maybe for some reason Sam couldn't come to bid day and now your number isn't right. Okay, so please don't make us do that. And I'm sure you don't want us all over your social media anyway. So just put it on OPA portal. We love OPA portal. Use it. So at the end of the day, we'll have a lot of good information in the files of OPA portal as well. If you poke around on membership, There's a lot of other good information on there for membership directors to check out. And another form you can apply for is recruitment assistance. Recruitment assistance is a way that for your chapter to get more money. If you needed to help out with recruitment, you fill out the form. Someone on the finance team will look it over and see if your chapter qualifies or not. So if your chapter is really needing it, I really suggest that you apply for it. It has really been beneficial, and it wasn't something that we noticed chapters were previously using, and now we've been seeing more chapters utilize it, which is great. Okay. I think I've talked about this briefly before, but recruitment is all hands on deck. So you as the membership director, I will tell you this, it is a big responsibility. It is a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. I'll be just honest with you on that. But at the end of the day, you're not able to do this all alone. Please remind your chapter that, remind your e-board that, remind your committee that. Everyone has their part, has to do their part for it to be a successful recruitment. We really need everyone to get involved so that we can have a really strong recruitment, because at the end of the day, even if someone in your chapter doesn't hold a leadership position, that doesn't mean that they're not a leader. If they're wearing your letters, they're a leader on your campus in some capacity, and they need to be a part of helping out with recruitment. I always say, I remember my chapter, we had recruitment and new member education separate, and my new member education was like, yeah, Jenna, no one's going to care about recruitment as much as you, because you're the recruitment chair. That is your job. You're going to care about it the most. But you need other people to help you out and to not put that burden. So please delegate, don't put it all on you. Another thing I really like to remind everyone is that recruitment is a two-way street. So as much as you're trying to get P&Ms to join OPA, they are deciding if they want to join. So again, they're trying to impress you, but you have to impress them. Make sure you have a cohesive look, everything's clean, everything's polished. And you kind of have to sell it a little bit like a salesman. I hate saying that, but it is true. They need to know what they're going to benefit from joining Omega Phi Alpha and what is beneficial with the membership. So I have here, again, some good questions for you to kind of consider when it does come to Omega Phi Alpha and why people are going to want to join. And my favorite saying is you have to be a friend to be a sister. So when you're thinking and you're meeting PNMs, you have to think about, is this someone that I would, I'm so sorry, my dogs. Sorry. You have to think about, would I be friends with this person? Because that is how they're going to become your sister eventually, if you have them as a friend. I apologize again for my dogs. They're going nuts. So overall if anyone wants to host a selective recruitment, you have to contact the membership for more information. And again, you must be approved in order to participate in selective recruitment. Now, does anyone here think they're going to need to apply for selective recruitment? No, we're good. Okay, because I was going to talk about about the process or where to find the forms, but if we think we're all going to be good with non-selective, that is great. So here are some overall goals for this year and how you can help Omega Phi Alpha as a whole. So the recent goal set by the board of directors is that we're trying to increase membership by 15% year over year. So every single year we're trying to increase membership by 15%. For this fall 2022 semester, our goal is to have 409 new members. I know it seems like a lot, but we can do it. Every chapter should have received their PNM goal number from Taylor. Did everyone receive that email? Yes, yes. Okay. So you really want to strive to reach that goal, but just as a reminder, it is a minimum. So if you think you want to do more, maybe talk to your exec or a chapter health advisor, a chapter health specialist to decide if you want to try to increase that number. But again, you decide what is best for your chapter. The membership director and Taylor, they work together to figure out what number is best for your chapter. But if you think, I think we can do a little bit more, then strive for it. Again, we want to try to increase our membership, but we don't want to overwhelm either. And at the end of the day, just remember that it is your chapter responsibility to try to reach that minimum goal. Do not rely on other people to pick up the slack. Don't be like, oh, I know, I'm at Alpha Alpha convention. They recruit like crazy. They got great numbers. I'm going to let them get like 5 more and then we don't have to worry about our chapter. No, I don't want you to think that way whatsoever. I want you to really focus on having those high numbers for yourself. All right, so that was a lot of information, but I really wanted to have a lot of time to kind of talk. And if there was any questions, especially since we do have a lot of new membership directors here, I would love if people are willing to kind of share about their experience and maybe some of the awesome things that your chapter does for recruitment. And we are going to have those chapter consultations around like 5:15, I believe. And I'll be here if you want to talk like more privately or more in depth about a specific issue you're having. And also my email is chs.jenna@omegapalpha.org. If you want to chat about anything, just let me know. But so far, do we have any questions, thoughts, discussion? Oh, whoever has their hand raised, go for it.
I got you. So I have lots of questions always.
Oh, let's do
So
it.
this is just an overall question.
Okay.
For just clarifying selective versus non-selective recruitment. For example, if there is somebody who is considering recruitment or goes through recruitment that is graduating the semester they activate, if hypothetically, would that be okay to give them a bid, but just like thinking realistically, like not realistically, maybe it's the panel and me, but I don't know. No, I don't, because she's a great person. We love her. We have a group message for our new members with me and another person on leadership, and we are blasting it out on social media, and we're having a lot of people, and that's great. But I don't want her to feel like she didn't get the whole experience either.
Can I?
Yeah, please
say something
Go
about
ahead,
that?
Catherine. I need all the advice.
Sorry, in my pledge class, there is a girl that is actually just graduated this past May, but she is getting her master's at the university as well, so she's able to stay a member for 2 more years while she's getting her master's. So that may be something that you want to talk to her about. If she's maybe planning to pursue a master's and stay at the university, she can continue to be a member for longer.
We have a sister like that at West Virginia that's going to be going through law school, and I think she's trying to decide if she's going to try and stay active or if she's going to go LOA.
I guess not that we wouldn't like my big is a graduate student, 1,000% aerospace education. My poor little theater major self feels so out of place, but it's fine. I love her. She's great. But just like I don't want to say it like this because it sounds so mean, but if we did not give her a bid, hypothetically, would that count as selective recruitment if she meets all the other things? I just don't want us to get in trouble because I've never done this before because I was
so if you so this sounds like you know this person is going to be coming out for recruitment for sure. Okay, I would definitely, as it gets closer and as you make sure all the other requirements are met, reach out to Summer at membership at, or Taylor, or Emily. What chapter are you from again? I'm sorry.
I'm from MTSU. April chapter, if that means anything.
Oh, April. Yeah. So you'll talk to April about that specifically. The thing is, I think you could still gain Karen and Sydney said, a great experience, because at the end of the day, being a part of Omega Phi Alpha is about the lifetime membership. As you see myself and all the other alum here who are involved, there are so many ways to kind of be involved and still have the experience beyond. I'll give another example. I know Alyssa for a fact. She started at her university and then she transferred, and so she wasn't able to continue. She had to status early. Or Jessica Toms is also someone who has been very involved with Omega Phi Alpha, has helped 4 chapters become inducted into like becoming a chapter. She's also someone had to transfer and or whether it's a chapter. So again, just things to definitely keep in mind. If you serious issue, talk to April more about it and we could figure out the best way possible. Again, like if there's a unique problem like that, not just because like, oh, we didn't like her, we're not giving her.
No, and that's not the thing at all.
I totally understand.
Everybody here, we love her. She's great, but I'm just, not scared, but I want her to get the experience that I'm having
Right.
by being PNM and then inactive and then, but
Right.
obviously not going to try and exclude if
Of
that was
course,
not fair.
it's definitely a valid concern. So
Mhm.
my thing is, I know, especially as membership chairs, we like to plan ahead. We like to think about everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, wait for it
That's
as it
not
gets
gonna happen.
closer, see how it goes.
Flexibility.
See how it goes. Okay, it'll be all right.
So I kind of had a question bouncing off of that, and I'm going to share this situation, not naming any names, just because I think it's
Perfect.
it's
Yeah.
an experience that our chapter went through that
Sure.
I think needs to be known, and I want to get an answer from the national level.
Yeah,
We had a
let's try.
situation where a PNM made sisters and other PNMs very uncomfortable with their comments during recruitment. They just were not speaking in an appropriate recruitment manner. We chose to not give her a bid. If we were to want to do something like that again, would we have to apply for non-selective recruitment, or would that be an elective decision that we as membership and our president and our exec board would have to make as like a one-off decision?
So
Because it
again,
truly was a one-off decision. It was very spur of the moment. It was brought to us by girls that are a little more outspoken, and then we had a lot of people that don't normally speak up be like, actually, this has been going on the entire time. And we were like, holy crap, we need to figure this out. But I just kind of wanted to get the answer from national level. I believe that our membership handled it very well. Our president handled it very well, and the proper steps were taken. But I just want to get the answer from nationals.
Yeah, so again, if it was one member, a one-off thing, it doesn't automatically mean you're doing a selective recruitment. And again, it was a very unique situation. This person clearly wasn't aligned with the values of Omega Phi Alpha. Depending on the nature of the comments, I don't know if it went towards like harassment, bullying, things that are in our policies that it's against, or things that don't align. I know some chapters have had issues with like racist comments, transphobic, homophobic, things of that nature. I'm not asking, I don't need those details. Again, I'm just trying to give some examples. If it is a one-off thing, you have to say why the bid wasn't offered. So you would say what, like you have said, comments of a certain manner. My advice though is to get in touch with either, if you have a CHS, with them or with the membership director and say, hey, we have this situation. This member is not going to be getting a bid because of X, Y, Z. I think what's important is to keep the channels of communication between nationals and with our chapters really open. So before the issue happens, before bid day happens, before it comes that you're giving out your bids, be in touch with us about the situation and what is going on. We will most likely be on your side if it's something like you are describing, something very serious. Again, as long as it is like a valid reason for not offering a bid, we will usually be on your side, but we may have to have more talk about why this person's not receiving a bid X, Y, Z. So just be prepared for that. We just really appreciate having like the open communication, whether it's like email, Slack, etc.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else? It doesn't have to be like situational things. If we just have questions about recruitment as a whole. If not, I would, Jane.
Again, I don't know if it sounds dumb. What exactly would like be considered selective recruitment? It's not necessarily just following our criteria, or
so selective recruitment means typically the chapters that have done it are because for like chapter health reasons, if they have like a ton of PNMs that typically come out and they only have resources. Is Alpha Mu on here by any chance? Anyone Alpha Mu?
You say Alpha Mu or regular?
Yeah,
Mu?
Alpha Mu.
Nope.
So Alpha Mu is at like Boston University. Their chapter does selective just because of the nature of their school and the nature of the service opportunities that are offered. They are capped a little bit at what they're able to do. So selective recruitment basically means you have that objective criteria, but you may also have subjective criteria. Things like the leadership experience years or service experience, things that your chapter kind of decides as a whole. And typically it's when your chapter either votes or chooses, or maybe they have like a one-on-one interview where they get to know someone more and like based off of that, they decide to get a bid or not. So it's not as much based on the facts and the clear things that you can quantify, like saying they went to X amount of events, this and that. It kind of narrows it down a little bit more. And usually for those bigger chapters at bigger universities who aren't able to like accommodate all that. Because a lot of our chapters probably can't have like over 200 members. It's just, it's not sustainable, or you can't take, if a chapter at 40 can't take 100 PNMs. So that's when selective may become an option. But we were just dealing with too many chapters doing selective and not offering bids to members who would be great members of Omega Phi Alpha. So that's kind of why we made the switch along with the pandemic too. Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts? Emily, go for it, girl.
I have all the questions because I'm just trying to make sure I have everything right.
Yeah.
Also, I'm open to anybody answering this question who has done it before, or
Please, yeah.
if you're Panhellenic or Jenna or anybody. So we are heavily recruiting through social media, but we are also tabling the week before recruitment. We are putting up a banner in our student union that says Omega Phi Alpha, National Service Sorority Sisters, something, I don't know what it says. That's my president's job, not job. She's the one who got it from our former president. So our school does not have an email listserv of what I'm aware. We don't have a newspaper. We're in all of the parent groups and the class of 2026, 2025, 2024, whatever groups. Like I said, I'm in charge of the Instagram, and we're following everybody who follows us back, and the class of 2026 Instagram pages where they're like messaging them info and whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't realize people lived with that. I'm just old, I guess. My point is, what we are also having, backtrack. We're having an ice cream and info, like basically ice cream social, get to know us, August 27th. School starts the 22nd. So it's Friday, it's Saturday night, whatever, like afternoon, when school started the previous Monday. And ADHD, y'all, I'm so sorry. So we're having the ice cream social, like we're saying it's super non-pressure, if dairy-free, gluten-free, whatever you need, we'll do it. We're just trying to get some people here because we only have whatever. We're kind of endangered. Just FYI, that's background on us. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, what other ways would you recommend? Like all of us are reaching out to people. We have a group me with myself as the membership director and the PNMs. Like I'm putting in questions of the day, like what is your favorite ice cream flavor was today? So we can get to know each other. And so people can feel like, oh, this is not, I have to be perfect to be in this space. And they could also add people to the group message. That is a feature of it. If they wanted, if their best friend is also a service person, I don't know. I just am open and willing and begging for ideas because we're dying. Or I know we're not dying. I'm dying because lots of things, but we're good. I'm also working a full-time job this summer on top of doing social media, recruitment, and membership director. It's fine. We're great. The job is an hour away from my house. Besides the point.
So something you didn't mention that I think would be good, and it just depends on the culture of your school, I think. We are the advertisement for West Virginia is big school with a small school feel. A lot of our programs are small. A lot of professors are multiple time professors for a lot of students, but they also teach a lot of 101 classes. Something we started last year with our previous membership team was having girls as an option for sisters to get hours is having them go into like 100 level classes and like first year seminars and hype up OPA to all of those kids, because a lot of our seminar teachers are academic advisors that we've spoken to on a multitude of times, professors we have relationships with. It worked out really well. We did get a lot of people that actually knew each other previously, so it bonded the new member class together really well.
For them to feel
and
like,
it worked. They were able to relate to each other, spend time outside of OPA things together, built a good relationship between everybody. So that would just be kind of my recommendation. It's something that my advisor and I are continuing this year because a lot of girls took advantage of it, because along with the struggle of trying to
hours
recruit
and-
people, we're trying to make sure everybody gets their hours if they can't
That
attend
too, yeah,
60% of recruitment.
yeah. Interesting.
Something-
I kind of really like that. I've never heard of that.
Something
not
a
heard
lot
of
of-
that, but like, yeah.
Yeah, Catherine, you share. I want to hear what you have to say. too.
Sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
interrupt
great.
you. Something a lot of our sororities do on campus is we have a move-in day where all the freshmen move in at once, and a lot of the sororities help people moving in move their things into their dorms, but it's also a chance to get your sorority's name out there. And a lot of the times, the people that are moving in dorms, the people that they talk to on that day are the people that they stick with a lot of the time, which is sad, but it's true. So if you can get there, get your name out there, start to make those connections whenever kids first get to campus, then a lot of the time that helps too.
We are no longer allowed to do that Panhellenic or otherwise, as far as I'm aware, at our campus.
Oh, that's
I know it's awful.
I hate
because
that.
We could, but apparently in the past there was a thing that I'm going to make us do this year. They're going to get over it, like wearing your letters the first day or couple days, or even like an OPA screen print shirt, and then holding doors open for people. Apparently that's a thing. I didn't realize that, but like, you know what? All over campus, if you're writing your letters, you always hold the door open for the person behind you or people behind you. And
I have a problem with that in general. No offense.
I mean, yeah, but like
from
not
the
making them do
South,
it, but just like, but
as
like,
someone from the North that has always gone to the South, no one in the North holds doors open for people, and everyone in the South does. I feel like that's just a normal
Yeah.
thing, not even a letters thing.
no, yeah, and
Kinda
people
have a
do that
problem with
anyway, but I just, we're really dying. All of us are.
Emily, I want you not to be so hard on yourself.
I
because
know, I'm
you're doing
trying.
a lot, and I like you just listed like a lot of things possible, and I think that there's some other good ideas out there.
I know.
I'm a New York girl. So the door, like we do hold doors,
No, I'm sorry.
but I understand where you're coming from too, Sydney.
Yeah.
Regardless,
understand.
definitely recommend the letters, Catherine. I'm so glad you brought up like the freshman move-in, because our first year move-in, a lot of people get involved with that. And even Emily, if your university's not allowed to, maybe some members are just happen to hang out that day around freshman dorms and their letters. I recommend though, if you can, like if you have like your OPA water bottle or a fun sticker on your laptop, these are great like conversation starters. If you have like a button on your backpack or whatever it is. I'm not saying to force people to wear it, but tell them like don't be afraid to wear it and promote it. Or maybe
1,000%.
like a why OPA Wednesday, like on special days. Or
yeah.
I know some chapters do like maybe you wear it the first of the month or
Mondays. Or
yeah,
whatever
yeah, sure. And again, I would just also remind people that recruitment, it's just a short period of time. So if it can, and especially if you're in your chapter situation where you're really trying to expand and grow right now, you to remind people to kind of give that extra to advertise. But no, I've been loving this. Great ideas, great things happening. Does anyone have any other like questions or like want to share something awesome they do with the recruitment? Carson, you've been looking like you have dying to say something this whole time. I'm like, come on, I'll unmute. Let's hear.
Well, it's for like, because my chapter is also very small. I think because we've got 2 people who went LOA. We have a total of 16 people, and like the amount of people we're supposed to recruit is 15, so we're gonna be trying to double it. And I am already like concerned about how the big little's gonna go, because I'm worried that if not everyone's wants to take a little, like am I gonna like getting stuck having to take like 2 or 3 on to so everyone has a big. And I don't know if there's like tips of like encouraging people to want, or like, yeah.
So I think
I also need encouragement for the taking of littles. We are a larger chapter, and that is a chronic issue we have as membership teams.
I'm going to start talking about it, and then if other people want to share, they are more than welcome to. But I just want, because this has been something we've been dealing with on the national side as well. So Carson, in your situation or Emily's situation, you have a small chapter, you're really trying to grow. You need to really have like a heart-to-heart with your members and say, if we want to exist on this campus still and be viable, we need all hands on deck to get involved. Like you kind of have to be a little straightforward with it. And like I said, you have to remind people that this is just a duty of the membership. and that being a big is just really about being a mentor, to be there through the new member process and to transition. I think we really need to like reframe a little bit. So yeah, maybe someone has to take twins, but it doesn't mean you have to spend so much money. It's not about the stuff. I know that it's really fun and it's really cute, but at the end of the day, it's more about the meaningful relationships. And I'm sure I'll share personally, I don't have good like big little relationship. It was just the way things like happened in my life. But I think for those who do, it is not about like, oh my God, they got me like the coolest canvas or the nicest sweatshirt. It's about like the conversations you have with them and the support that you're giving to kind of help through it. So you kind of have to frame it that way. I know some chapters recently made like a budget or made like kind of like, this is what you have to do for each day. So try to think about that. But I think at the end of the day, it's talking with your e-board and talking with your chapter about how to reframe the relationship and the expectations. So that's something that you really got to get real about. And like I was saying before, think about, we're in a luckier situation with the pandemic right now, but think about like how things were 2 years ago, last year, however long time is a mystery now, but whatever you had to do previously with bigs and littles, like try to think about that too. And I think we could use and benefit from some of that as well. Does that help? And if anyone has any other comments, please share that, because I'm out. I'm older now. I'm out of university.
Other people can go in front of me though. Go ahead, Catherine and Vanessa, if y'all were going to say something.
I was going to say something in our chapter that keeps people from being bigs a lot of the time is financial status. We have a lot of girls that struggle with that. So something that we do as a chapter is I just have a big, large tote of things that people, if they do have the extra money or if they have the extra things, t-shirts, whatever, we keep it in a bin and I keep it. That way, if you do want to be a big, but you can't financially, that we have a way to compensate for that. So if that's something that you can do in your chapter, I 100% recommend it. It's helped so much.
You're on mute, Vanessa.
I was just gonna say you're good. I didn't mean to.
Okay. Did you want to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I do want to say something. Also this is kind of, I hate saying it like this. This is what my Panhellenic sorority did that our chapter is adopting this year in terms of big little reveal and week, months, whatever you do at your chapter. So what we are doing is we're doing, hypothetically, of course, we're doing 3 days of gifts. So they're not getting one big basket where it's like $5,000 worth of stuff, you know. One day could be like a little like B insignia day. And if you have a B pencil topper or a pencil and a plushie I got from my big 2 years ago or whatever, do that. And then if you want to have like an apparel day, or you can sneak that stuff in or whatever, also just like candy. You can go get that at Dollar Tree. That's what I'm doing this year because I am most likely taking 2+ littles. So my choice though. And it's just like, make it themed hypothetically. So like be sweet and it's candy. And you could spend less than $5 on that and put it in a little bucket, pail, whatever, from the dollar spot at Target. I don't know.
No, definitely. That was great. Cindy, you can go and then
I was gonna say we are heavy reliers on we do a lot of hand-me-downs, mostly because it's fun and we do it as hints to be like, oh, like we do an Instagram for hints. That's like the way that we do our stuff. And a lot of people will post things that they're like grand big made for them that they are giving their little. So they're looking through Instagram and it's just like, did they post their basket? Where is it? Like looking through just like the archives of the internet to find things. But we are heavy reliers on Dollar Tree, Five Below, and just
there's not a problem with that either. If anybody
and even if you don't want the things that alumni are selling, buy them and sell them to someone else. Because one, it's a way to make money as long as they're a properly associated alumni. don't buy things from disassociated people. But if it's just an alumni or your grandpa giving you something, pass it on to someone else that needs it. It's a great way to help people out. We've had a lot of people do it, and it's been a great help to those that have the financial burden when taking multiple littles if that was not their original plan.
Yeah, definitely. I love food and candy as an option. I think it's like a cheaper, more fun way, something that they'll definitely appreciate having. Catherine, I'm glad you brought up having the shared of the past items. I think that is so important. Five Below also has crafting items, by the way, canvases, all that's like my favorite store. Michael's always has coupons. You better look it up. If you have extra money in your recruitment fund or any other fund, see if you can put that towards either like crafting supplies or things that bigs can kind of like shop around at. But even as your seniors are graduating, say if there's anything you're wanting to get rid of, if you want to donate it for us to have. This is like, I have a family friend who's in a social sorority and she lives in a house and she's like, they left me all this stuff. I'm not buying anything for my future little. I'm just gonna hand it all down. And you can even like paint over canvases if it's like something you don't like, or maybe it was something like really niche or outdated. You can always like paint over it as well. So yeah, there's a ton of options to kind of help with like the money aspect. And I agree with the themes as well, as Emily was saying. I know my chapter would do like one day you give like a pin box, or there's like certain gifts, and then anything else is like extra. But I would really talk to your members and those bigs about those extras. Like I know some people do like to like spoil and go over the top, but maybe that's something like more private, because we just don't want anyone to like feel bad or discouraged. Like, oh my God, look, so-and-so got like all this craziness and like I didn't, because unfortunately it does make people feel bad. I hate that that's a part of it, but it just does. So I would just have that open conversation with your bigs. And if your university allows like the classroom delivery of things, please be really respectful with that at either like the beginning or end of class, or make sure it's acceptable, or that it's a class that they would be okay going to. I was a dance major, and if someone came to one of my dance classes, I would have flipped out. And it happened once to a girl in a social sorority, and it was like a fraternity boy doing it, and our professor did not really like that. So just if maybe like remind your new members, like if they have a class like that, maybe just put that in there and be like, don't come to this class, like to their big, just so they know. Just be respectful. Remind everyone of that, whether it comes to like classes or like if people are going to go over the top, just be really respectful. I hope that helped with our big little things. It's something that a lot of chapters are working on. I'm trying to help chapters with, and nationally we're trying to improve. We were really focused on that prior to the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, so things kind of like shifted a little bit, understandably. I only have a few minutes left, so I don't know if there's anything else anyone wants to share, anything like really awesome your chapter does, or any other thoughts. But I will be here once we go back. I think we're gonna do one activity with Taylor, and then I'll be here to talk more if you need to, if you want to like think a little bit more. You can always email me too. So any other final thoughts in the meantime?
This is completely unrelated, but it's for Emily. I'm from Epsilon chapter at Tennessee Tech. One of our members is transferring to MTSU this semester.
She wanted this
please
semester,
treat
she's
her with
transferring?
love.
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Is she coming to my chapter, or is she going?
She's coming to you. So
Okay,
please
well,
love her to no end. I love
literally,
her to
you think
death.
I'm joking? Okay, I don't know how that process works, but I'm gonna find you on Instagram or something, and we're gonna talk, because I got you, buddy.
I love that. That's so great.
That's amazing.
I don't know if can I give you her name? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her name is Sienna Cordial.
And I'll find you on Instagram. We'll talk, because I want to make sure she is properly assimilated.
I think like Catherine, your chapter might have to like write a letter to theirs being take this lovely soul, Sienna. Like something like that. Then I'm sure Emily is waiting. But Emily, that'll be great for your chapter too, to have some like new ideas from another chapter. So that's awesome. Tell April.
I just wanted to tell you, treat her with love.
No, 1,000% Link. That's my life. Sorry.
All right.
Anyway,
well, we're about to head back. Thank you all. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. We'll talk about OPA 101. All right. If I don't see you later. Enjoy. Bye, guys.